Hi ma'am, mag-start na ko sa akong demo teaching and imaginary ra akong student. Good morning class, my name is Alger and I'll be your teacher for this subject. Before anything else, let's start our class with a prayer. May I request Monkey to lead us in prayer? Amen. Thank you, Monkey. So, class, what was your last topic? Yes, thank you. Last topic, we define what is accounting and the definition based on different government groups that define accounting. So for now, let's start our discussion with the topic, the accounting equation. So after this discussion, at the end of this subject, we will be able to define what is assets, liabilities, and owner's equity. Next is to illustrate the accounting equation. And third is to be able to solve problems involving the accounting equation. So, to start first, may I call on anyone from the class to give me a definition of or to give me an overview of what you understand about the accounting equation. Thank you for that input. So, it's actually true that accounting equation is just a what defines or what composes the business in financial matters. So first, let's define the first part of the equation, the asset. So anyone from the class can define what is asset. Any input or understanding from you? Okay, thank you for that input. So based on the definition, an asset is a resource with economic value. So unsa man ang economic value? When we say economic value, ang asset daw is a resource na pag nilagay natin sa market would have a value sa financial, either in peso or in any currency. So, an asset with economic value that an individual, corporation, or country owns or control with the expectation that it will provide a future benefit. So we have another keyword here, the owns or control, this one. So dili siya mahimong asset sa business if they don't have a control over such asset, and also it should provide a future benefit. So an example ana is income. Another definition is assets are reported on a company's balance sheet and are bought or created to increase a firm's value or benefit the firm's operation. So, depende sa imong business, magdepende po ang imuang mga asset. For example, sa mga merchandise, so ang imuang mga items, maunang imuang asset. Kung imuang baligya kay mga insurance, so ang insurance premiums mao na siyang imuang mga asset. So muna siyang gahatag og future benefits, og kung naay mo avail sa imuang mga assets, mo increase pod ang value sa imuang business. So an asset can be thought of as something that in the future can generate cash flows, reduce expenses, or improve sales. So mo po na siyang other purpose of asset nato. So anyone from the class can give me another example of an asset? Okay, thank you. It's true that accounts receivable are also asset. Yung mga may utang sa'yo, they can be, although wala pa'y kwarta nga niabot sa imong business, but yung katong utang will serve as an asset and will be included in the balance sheet. So another part of the accounting equation is the liability. Anyone from the class who can define what is liability based on your own understanding? Okay, thank you. So a liability is something a person or a company owes, usually a sum of money. So in layman's language, liabilities kay ang utang sa kumpanya. Liabilities are settled over time through the transfer of economic benefits including money, goods, or services. So ang ato din ginabayad sa ato ang mga liabilities is our asset. We transfer it either at one time or kanang by installment or through a duration of time, and this includes atong pagbayad sa money, mga goods nato or services. Mo na siya nga way sa ato ang pagsettle. So this liability is recorded on the right side of the balance sheet. So sa right side siya. Pag makita nimong balance sheet, naman na siya left or right, which is dapat balance. Muna siyang gitawag na balance sheet. So examples of these liabilities are loans, accounts payable, mortgages, deferred revenues, bonds, warranties, and accrued expenses. So anyone from the class who can give me another example of a liability? Yes, that's true. An accounts payable. So ang accounts payable, pwede siya dagan siya definition, pwede siyang notes, pwedeng yung mga utang natin na mga utang ng company sa other companies. So that's included in the balance sheet or in the right side of our equation. Now the last one or the last part of the accounting equation is the owner's equity. So anyone from the class who can give me a definition based on your own understanding of what is an owner's equity? Okay, thank you, Bunny, for that input. Now equity typically referred to as shareholders equity. So kabantay mo ka ng mga salida, di ba naman yung mga shareholders nga mo ay na siya nga mas dako kog shares ani nga company, so mas dako'y control. So mo na siya ang shareholder mga or sa owner's equity or owner's equity for privately held companies. So this represents the amount of money that would be returned to a company's shareholders if all of the assets were liquidated. So, unsa man na siyang liquidated? Ang pasabot ana niya is if ang company mag-close na, syempre naman yung mga property, mga building, lands nila, mga sakyanan nila dadto. Pag ibaligyan na to siya tanan o mabayaran ang tanang utang, ang mabilin mo na siya ang mapadulong sa ato ang mga shareholders, mo na siyang owner's equity. And all of the company's debt was paid off in the case of liquidation. So, malato siya ang akong explain. So, in the case of acquisition, it is the value of company sales minus any liabilities owed by the company not transferred with the sale. And so, may pasabutan ng acquisition. So, when you buy a business, for example, ikaw, paliton ako ng tindahan ni or kanang grocery store ni tita, mga anak. Pagpalit mo ato, ang value ato is idless daan ang mga utang sa tindahan. So muna siya ang value sa imong pag-acquired sa business and muna siya ang owner's equity. Now that we know the three parts of the accounting equation, we will now proceed to what is actually an accounting equation. So the formula for this is assets equals liabilities plus owner's equity. So as easy as that, kung makita nato sa assets ay sa formula, we can see the left side and the right side of the balance sheet. Now, the balance sheet composes of the assets muna siya ang nasa left side nato or debit. Debit side sa ato ang double entry accounting system o ang sa right side is the liabilities and owner's equity. Now, liabilities plus owner's equity should always equal to our assets. Now, what is an accounting equation? So, is considered to be the foundation of the double entry accounting system. Now, nga nang gitawag siyang double entry? Anyone from the class who can give their ideas regarding this double entry accounting system? Yes, thank you. Because sa pag-record nato sa ato ang transactions, we always put a debit and credit. So, kung unsa atong ma-receipt and unsa ato ang gihatag in return mo siyang double entry system. On a company's balance sheet, it shows that a company's total asset are equal to the sum of the company's liabilities and shareholders' equity. So, muna na siyang formula. Assets equals liabilities plus owner's equity. Now, based on this double entry system, the accounting equation ensures that the balance sheet remains balanced. Ano siyang gitawag siya og balance sheet because assets should always equal to liabilities and the owner's equity. And each entry made on the debit side should have a corresponding entry or coverage on the credit side. So, kabantay mo kung mag-entry ta natay debit and credit, and it represents the balance sheet, and the balances it occurs during the journalizing of transaction. So remember that our formula is assets equals liabilities plus owner's equity. So as easy as that, we can now define any financial matters regarding our business. Now we have here an example of finding one of the elements in the accounting equation. So anyone from the class who can answer number 1? Okay, thank you Hello Kitty for that input. So assets equals liabilities plus owner's equity. Using that equation, we can find that the missing element in the number 1 is the owner's equity. So how did you get the answer? Okay, thank you. You subtracted the liabilities in our assets. So 760,000 less 360,000, the answer is 400,000. So as easy as that, we can always find the missing elements in our accounting equation. So number 2, can you answer monkey? Very good. Thank you for that answer, and that's actually correct. How did you get your answer? Oh, you deducted the owner's equity in our asset, and the answer is thank you, that's correct. And number 3, anyone? Okay, Bunny, you answer number 3. How did you answer number 3? So we have here the missing element is the assets. We have the liabilities and owner's equity as a given. So 108,000 plus, that's a less than, negative amount in the owner's equity. So we have 108,000 minus 60,000. We have 48,000 as our asset. That's right. Thank you. And next, number 4. That's correct. And number 5. Thank you. And that's correct. So we have an understanding of what is asset, liabilities, and owner's equity, and how each elements affect the accounting equation. So let's have an example. But before that, we have a reminder that always keep in mind that the equality of the accounting equation must be maintained. It must be balanced every time. So the assets should always equal to the liabilities and the owner's equity. Now let's answer a series of example here. So for this, I want you to group yourself into 3 or 2, and I will be assigning a case for you. So for the group 1, you should answer case 1, group 2, case number 2, group 3, and you should answer the case number 3. After that, you will present to the class on how did you get the answer. Okay, you have 5 minutes to answer this. Okay, 5 minutes up. Group 1, can you present on how did you answer the first case? So anyone? Thank you, that's right. So let's read again the problem. Jimmy Delgado Pest Control has assets of 600,000 and owner's equity of 450,000. Now, what's missing in the accounting equation? That's right, the liability. So, how did you get the answer? That's right, you subtracted the owner's equity in the asset. So, 600,000 minus 450,000, that is 150,000. Now, next group, anyone? That's right. Thank you for that wonderful explanation. Group 3, thank you. That's correct. Now, so we have an understanding of what is accounting equation and what is the elements included in the accounting equation. Thank you for listening. So before anything else, let's have an assignment to list the 5 major accounts, define each, and give at least 2 examples per account. So you will submit that on the next meeting. Thank you for listening, and bye bye everyone.